You got Arkansas versus Ole Miss at Bud Walton Arena tomorrow night, 7:30 for the tip. We'll be carrying the pregame show, of course, at 7 o'clock. It'll be televised on the SEC Network. Arkansas coming off back-to-back wins. So is Ole Miss. And so that means we got a couple of teams looking to make it a win streak. Let's talk about that with Mark Dukes. He is the Ole Miss basketball radio color analyst and joins David Kellum for all of the games. And he joins us right here on Halftime. Hi, Mark. Thanks for coming on today. How are you?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me.
You got it. So, safe to say it has been an interesting basketball season for Ole Miss. Got to be one of the latest starts for any team in the country. I know they had some COVID issues that either postponed or canceled the first 4 or 5 games. December the 10th was the first game, and so your team has jammed in, that's 14 games in a 45-day stretch. That's a lot of basketball for a month and a half.
You're correct. That is exactly right. But it was something that was needed because of those first games that were missed. Obviously, we're the last Power 5 team in the nation to open the season on December 10th. And we played, I think, 5 games in the first 15 or 16 days. Of course, now, obviously, we're in that 2-game-a-week SEC thing, and that's probably good.
Teams coming off the back-to-back wins against Mississippi State and Texas A&M. Is there a feeling because of the late start to the way things started? And that also means the team probably didn't get to practice very much together until they were able to finally get the season started. So has there been a feeling like it's been a bit of a disjointed team that's still trying to find a way to gel? And have you seen anything the last couple of games and the wins over State and Texas A&M that makes you think they are starting to gel?
Well, you're exactly right, because there was a couple of weeks of practice missed right before the season, and then there are a lot of new faces, very similar to Arkansas, a lot of new faces on the Ole Miss team, and I think they're getting better. Perimeter shooting was a little bit of a problem there in the early SEC season, and that's improved dramatically, and hopefully that'll continue.
Well, you mentioned some of the newer names. I want to talk about a guy that's returning here, and he's one of the better point guards in the SEC, Devontae Shuler. Is he the guy? He's the one who drives the engine for this team. I know they've got they've got some size inside, and I think that's one aspect that could give Arkansas some problems. But is this team basically Devontae Shuler's in his 4th year?
Absolutely, it is. He is the 4th-year senior. He started for 3 years and played a lot of minutes even as a freshman. Just a super kid who has taken on that leadership role. And although he's had some bad games early in the SEC season, he seems to have come back. He's a very mature young man and is just doing a super job leading this team. And, yes, it is his team for sure.
Who's the best defensive player on this team? Is it one of the new guys, or is it any of the returners?
Rodriguez.
And how do they use
well, Luis is not new. He got injured early on in the after the 5th game last year and had to sit out the season. But he is our defensive stopper. He's 6'6" kid with good feet, good hands, blocks shots, and is one of the SEC leaders in steals. So you would have to say he would be the defensive stopper for this team.
Arkansas might have some trouble against Ole Miss because of the size. They look to be really strong in the post with guys like K.J. Buffin and Romello White. I know Kadeem Sy is a big guy that gets in there. Would that be the main strength of this team aside from Shuler?
Yeah, most teams lately have been doubling down on the post, on Romello White. He's done a really good job of scoring in the post early on in the season, but the defensive have adjusted, and he's been in a little bit of a slump because he's having to kick the ball out a lot. He's not getting a lot of shots anymore because of the double team, which should open things up on the perimeter, and actually have. For a while there, Ole Miss was shooting so poorly from the perimeter that everybody was doubling down. But now, hopefully, teams will have to adjust a little bit to the perimeter shooting because it's gotten a lot better. You talk about advantages. Arkansas's got the big guards. Ole Miss has little guards. Jarkel Joyner is listed at 6 feet. He's about 5'10" and a half, and Shuler is listed at 6'2", and he's about maybe 6'1". And you got Jalen Tate and Moses Moody and Desi Seals is strong and gets to the rim. I think the advantage for Arkansas definitely will be on the perimeter. I don't know whether Ole Miss can take advantage of it in the post size, because actually Connor Vanover will probably give Ole Miss problems blocking shots inside. He does a great job of that with his length.
Mark Duke's joining us here on Halftime, the color analyst for Ole Miss basketball. When you look at the conference standings right now, this is a big game for both these teams. Arkansas sitting at 4-4 inside conference play right now. Ole Miss sitting at 3-4. And Mark, I think when you look at this is crucial moving into the middle part of the season here, trying to set yourself up for the SEC tournament play, and particularly for Ole Miss, maybe trying to start a little winning streak of their own to try to maybe get into an NCAA tournament bid.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I was looking, at Arkansas's losses, and the 4 losses to Missouri, Tennessee, LSU, and Alabama, those are top-tier teams in the SEC, obviously. 3 of them ranked teams, and so Arkansas does not have a bad loss. If they could continue winning, I think they got a great shot to get in the tournament. And Ole Miss is going to have to, as you said, they're going to have to make a move right here in the next week and a half and get a little streak going. So this game is huge. It's huge for both teams as far as what's going to happen down the road.
Ole Miss's defense, and Phil kind of alluded to it a moment ago, is one of the best defenses in the conference, averaging about 61 points or allowing about 61 points a game defensively. What needs to happen for this Ole Miss defense to create some havoc for Arkansas, for a team that, for Arkansas, sometimes they're scoring in the high 90s and looks not, I won't say invincible, but looks really good offensively. And then you have games where they played Alabama and only score 50. What needs to happen for Ole Miss to try to slow down this Arkansas offense?
Well, that's a big key to this game. Obviously, I think the way Arkansas gets the ball up and down the floor and hurry, spreads the floor, gets open shots for their three-point shooters, who they have several of. I think the key to Ole Miss will be defending those guys and not giving up easy baskets off turnovers. You've got to take care of the basketball, not turn it over, not let Arkansas get a lot of open court stuff and try to get it into a half-court game.
That's interesting. I think you're right about that. Arkansas loves to get out and run if they can, and Muss has even said, when they're forced to work half-court sets, things slow down a bit, and they have a little trouble getting a good look. I want to ask about the state of the program under Kermit Davis, who's got so much respect as a coach and did great work at Middle Tennessee. It's his 3rd year with the program and kind of had that surprising run of the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago. Last year fell back a little bit. What's the feeling in Oxford right now with the program and around Coach Davis?
I think there's a lot of enthusiasm around the program with the recruiting class that's especially coming in next season, one of the top 20 recruiting classes in the country. And so everyone has got high expectations for this team this year. Maybe just hopefully kind of getting things back going a little bit. And then next year with the guys coming in, there, as I said, a lot of enthusiasm about that. And Kermit Davis has got a lot of support with the Ole Miss people, and I think he's doing a fine job, and it's only going to get better.
I imagine Rebels fans, though, are hungry for a win over the Razorbacks. Hogs have kind of dominated the series of late with wins in 6 of the last 7. So is this game viewed, I don't know if you could speak for the coaching staff necessarily, but for the Rebels fan base overall as one that they'd really just like to get out of their craw?
Yeah, it's been tough. Arkansas's had Coach Musselman does a wonderful job, and last year was able to pretty much dominate the Rebels. And to answer your question, yes, I think the Ole Miss faithful is looking to this as a really big game after coming off 2 wins and trying to get a little momentum going, as you said, into the middle part of this SEC season. And it's going to be a tough game. It's on the road. I think Arkansas's team has played the best defense half-court defense I've seen them. I've seen them probably play 4 or 5 times this year, and I think their half-court defense in the last 2 games against Auburn and Vanderbilt is the best I've seen it since the season started. And of course, Arkansas is the only team that's beaten Auburn since Sharif Cooper joined the team and turned Auburn around. So I think that was a big win. I think this is a big game tonight, as we talked about, for both teams.
Well, appreciate you hopping on and doing a preview with us about the game tomorrow. So, Mark, thanks for your time. Say hi to DK. Appreciate him setting us up with you today. And we'll be watching tomorrow for sure.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it very much.
Okay. It's Mark Dukes. He's on the Ole Miss radio broadcast, color analyst, former Ole Miss assistant basketball coach, and good to have him on today. Of course, that's tomorrow's game. We got a couple of guests already set up to talk football tomorrow. And, of course, we'll do some baseball with Clay Henry. Speaking of baseball, we've got Matt Hobbs, Arkansas pitching coach, joining us at 12:30 Thursday. So we had Nate Thompson on last week. We'll have Matt this week. I guess that means we got to get DVH next week.
Just keep going up the food chain. That's all we got to do.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, 877-377-6963 if you're going to get with us in the last segment. And that last segment is Get Off My Lawn, so get on the show.